Hi everyone, in this video we're having a look at our circumstances and how we overcome them, and also about our emotions and our feelings toward them. So when we are looking at emotions on this channel and we're talking about embracing them and accepting them and acknowledging them, the only reason why we are doing this is so we don't suppress them down and cause them to either inwardly become an anger, which may manifest in physical pain, or maybe we actually suppress them down that they end up coming up in another time when we are overwhelmed by something, and then we kind of have this spiraling way of being. So these are the reasons why we acknowledge it. It doesn't mean that we dwell on them. Acknowledging emotions and dwelling on emotions are totally different things. When we are dwelling on something, it means we are actually allowing ourselves to go into a period of time of dwelling, meaning that we are going more than maybe a week or 2 weeks or a few days, whatever it is that causes us to dwell too much on what is going on. So for me, on my own journey, anytime that I had started out in this, as I had said before, I used to suppress them down. However, that actually ended up coming up in a way that, for me anyway, I think is a physical manifestation of me internalizing things and not allowing things to come up in a kind of physical health way that I recently experienced. And so when I realized this, and when I say recently, it's a few months ago now, but still ongoing or whatever. But when I realized this, I knew that I had to accept emotions for what they were and to acknowledge them and know that they are part of what we are doing on this as well too. I cannot sit down and dwell on them, however, because if I sit down and dwell on them, I'm not allowing myself to take accountability for my nervous system. I'm also not taking responsibility then for any negative thoughts that come up, because I'm spiraling too much then on the dwelled emotion. And so because of that, then what you focus on grows, and so that inevitably causes us to spiral more. So with that being said, when circumstances come up, circumstances, as we know, are changeable. Nothing is permanent because everything is always shifting and changing. And when we continue to focus on something so much, that is kind of what we are creating. And we know this because we are becoming more conscious and aware of our thoughts if we are specifically manifesting or intentionally manifesting or whatever we are doing on our journey. So when we become aware that our circumstances are always susceptible to change, really all the work that we're doing then is identifying what it is that's going on. So if a circumstance pops up and we know that we're doing our self-regulation, we know that we are becoming more aware and more in tune with ourselves and with our thoughts, and this circumstance that is coming up is completely not anything to do with what we have been doing and filling ourselves up, well, then we kind of have the knowing that this is going to change. There is something in this that is benefiting me in somehow, because everything is always benefiting me. And so because we have this knowing, we're not going to dwell on it too much, and it changes a lot quicker, because as I say, everything is shifting and changing, and we are experiencing everything in the present moment from a different point of view. And if we are experiencing everything in the present moment from a different point of view, it means that the point of view that we're having on this circumstance is inevitably changing then, because we're always living in the present moment and we are experiencing then the different point of view. However, if we allow an old point of view to come up and we dwell on that, this is how we inevitably continue to recreate the circumstances, and that's kind of how it goes on. And we know that anyway from everything that we're doing on this journey. However, if a circumstance comes up, let's say for example when it comes to behaviorisms, or it comes to undesirable behaviors from others, or if we're not engaging properly in our relationships or things like that, know the difference between what it is that we have to do in order for anything to change. If it comes down to maybe certain behaviors that we know are not right for us, or that we know that we are not wanting to engage in with others, we want to take responsibility in this for ourselves. It's never about the other person, in a way that it's not up to them for us to decide how to live our life. And so if we are going to continue to allow things to consistently happen, that is on us really, because we are allowing maybe behaviors that we don't desire to continue to happen in our reality, because we're not taking accountability in our assertiveness and in our own worth and value, in a way that we are in a way that we are honoring what it is that we actually do prefer when it comes to behaviors. Now, I know sometimes it can be difficult. I know circumstances can pop up and it can seem, hard, and it can seem challenging to overcome them, and it can seem challenging to actually, maybe separate ourselves from the behaviors that come along, because I'm human too. I've experienced things as well too, and even, with myself, and it's an ongoing journey for, self-growth. It's an ongoing journey for, coming into ourselves and learning about ourselves more. But we do want to know that we always have a choice in how we are going to respond to what is going on. We always have a choice to ask ourselves, is any of this actually serving me? And is this something that I want to continue with? And if it is, great. And if it's not, then I have to figure out the solutions for myself in order for me to transcend and, experience a different reality and different experiences from others as well too. How others show up can be, it can be from their own limiting beliefs. It can be from their own way of seeing things in their world. And that's okay, because that is their journey. We're all on different journeys. It does not mean that we have to accept the behaviors that they maybe put on to us when we know that they're not maybe right, or maybe they don't feel right, or they're not feeling good to us in the moment, because we're on our journey and we have to understand how to walk it ourselves as well too. And so when it comes to actually, changing circumstances and changing our mindset around these circumstances, we want to take the accountability only for ourselves. It does not mean, now we can sit there and we see the best in others, because that is what we do anyway. However, it's not solely up to us to take on any of their limiting beliefs or behaviors either, because we are supposed to be looking after our own limiting beliefs and our own beliefs and our own behaviors. And so that is how then we inevitably, push ourselves in a way that we are able to overcome and transcend our circumstances in a way that is, goes in a certain step-by-step process if it has to, because we are wanting to do it in a sustainable and maintainable way as well too. We always want to be engaging with how we are feeling in the moment, and we also want to know that when emotions pop up, we know that it's not about dwelling on them, it's about allowing ourselves the time to overcome them. So the difference between this is when we know maybe we're dwelling on an emotion or something that we're feeling over a few days, but then maybe, let's say 4 days, but then maybe the 5th day we start to feel better. This is when we say, okay, I'm about to overcome this emotion, rather than saying to ourselves, oh, but actually no, this is the way, whatever, just falling back into the moment. We have the courage and we have the discipline to say, okay, my body is telling me that it's okay to let go of this now. My mind is telling me to let go of this now. So I'm going to have the discipline to do that. And this is when I'm going to do the self-regulation. So I thought I'd make a video about that. It's not about dwelling on the emotions. It's about giving your mind and your body the chance to understand that you're allowed to have them, and that you're allowed to embrace them, and that you're allowed to have your little bit of time to overcome them. But it's to know the difference between when the energy is maybe lifting from you, to not pull it back down, to not pull yourself back down in a way that you are self-sabotaging, or in a way that you are, accepting undesirable behaviors or things like that. Because in a way that can be self-sabotaging as well too. So I thought I'd make a video on that. If you have any questions, you can comment down below and I will chat to you soon.